first, and then the left, and a red light will flash while they're in operation, and then when it's fully down, a green light will come on. When it's fully up, no light will be on.
No light.
And it's not fast. They're electric. I never have done it without the engine running because I didn't want to tax the battery. There's a battery in the tail that is the number 2 battery here for the avionics, and this is the number 1 battery, which is by the engine. Both batteries are used for starting, and this battery, when you're soaring, this battery has to be on to operate the radios and the soaring computer. So that's key to that. This is for the vent, air vent to open and close. These are just circuit breakers. When you start it, you push this button, and I'll just crank it, but I won't start it. Like so. And then a little bit of choke if it's below 20C, 15C. A little bit of choke, a little bit of fuel, and then after about 4 or 5 turns, you'll hit ignition, and that'll turn the igniter on. Start it. Immediately go and look at oil pressure, and it will usually stay in this green cylinder head temperature all the time. It will use, when it takes gas, it uses this side about 1/4 of a tank, and then it'll use this side, and then after that they're pretty equal, but it will always draw from this tank first.
Automatically?
Yes.
So you know there's no on and off switch for the fuel?
You can. There is on and offs back here to select fuel, but they're both on all the time. Except for when I have it sit for the winter or long times, I turn it to off, because they say it's hard on the diaphragm of the carburetor to have fuel pressure on it all the time. And so they said it's better if I turn this to like this if it's going to sit for more than a couple, 3 weeks at a time.
So that's on and off, turn right and left.
Right, and you know, then straight up and down, they're both on. And this is the fuel pump for emergencies, and this is for the right tank. And this is, of course, the right and left tank. The amp, it'll always show a little bit over 12 when it's running. This is new. I had this put in new because the old one was not very accurate. So when I put in the new engine, I put in a new cylinder head temp that was more accurate. And this is the emergency power. And we'll have to look at the manual. I can't remember what it even does, but it's some kind of emergency power switch. This is dual soaring VSIs. This one is a little more sensitive than this one. I had this put in just because it has so much rudder that I wanted to make sure that I wasn't laying my foot down. And then of course you have the yaw string. So between the yaw string and this, you know, it makes a tremendous performance difference if it's trim or out of trim. And then I had this is an intercom that I've had worked on. So when the engine's running, you can talk to your passenger easily and not have to yell. So this did not work when I bought it, and I had to send it to this manufacturer and have a factory work on it to get it done. This is
to open the cone.
This is the spoilers. That's full spoiler, and then I have a very positive lock. Now the spoilers are locked down, and so you always want to make sure they're locked down. And I spent a lot of money with Copper State Aero, Rick, having everything fine-tuned so the rigging is perfect. So this will never jump out.
And go to the other side.
Right. And then once it's up here, you can operate with 2 fingers. But I didn't. People all the time were having problems with it in turbulence. This would jump out of. And so I had that done. The same thing with the flaps. The flaps, you have a flap indicator here, and then you also have a flap indicator here where the handle is. Again, there's another set that goes over here on this side, but see how it would hurt your leg? But we have the handles. This is to straighten the propeller up and make it flat. This is to stop the propeller from windmilling, and then this is to close the nose.
Yeah, I can just kind of open and close again. Okay. And then the side comes open.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that way the motor is warm for immediate restarts. I restart at 1500 AGL, and if it doesn't restart by 500 AGL, never happened, then I would forget trying to restart. That gives me a good, even on a day with no thermals at all, gives me a good 8 minutes at 50-to-1 glide ratio, and it takes about 30 seconds to restart. So if I've lost 1,000 feet, then I would immediately